all games played with Genji unlocked, and pretty much all games played with Genji in it, at least for this series between Superstars and Naventic. And just Naventic.
That's what I was going to say. I was thinking that right as it zips right in. I was like, well, obviously, if you needed to know that, you haven't been watching the last games because that is all Zuna has played so far.
I like, too, he hopped into the lobby chat and said that was the first time that he's tried that deflect build that he had, which is perfect defense at 7 so that you have it up more often, and then the reflect for more damage at 16, and then even Zanshin at 20 getting that for more damage distributed out. We'll see. He said it's kind of the hot.
It's kind of the hot, which
it is Zuna win.
And I was going to say, to translate that out of Zuna, it means I think this build is actually pretty strong.
Thank you for the Zuna translation.
You know, it's just he's got a way with words, a magical way with words. Zuna does, not taken away from it. I think it's beautiful in its own way.
It's kind of the hot.
Yeah, you know, I always talked about. Just anytime when supporting him, if he was going to make, like, I don't know, you know, when Zuna does Zuna plays and he has that amazing moment, he would just always come in and he would just, in comms, he was just screaming. He's like, I've got the damage. And if at any point Zuna is overhyped and he's just like, I'm saying damage, like, as a support, I'm like, I'm going to face roll my resources on top of you. And if that happens, he wins the fight every time.
I've got the damage. That's the exact quote that he uses.
It's close. It's close enough. Let's leave it at that.
As you guys have seen, Naventic in Naventic fashion lost the last game, so they are, which actually this part in Naventic fashion has chosen Battleground picks, so we're headed to Shrines.
Shrines. Kerrigan's been busted out here recently.
Yeah, by Naventic.
That's,
But it was a later pick. It was not an early pick, Kerrigan.
Does he pull away from the Genji? Genji has really good follow-up to the Punishers. He has very little control onto the Shrines itself. Even if you take the level 1 and get it halfway stacked and still use your passive every time to clear the Shrine, you still get about 5 skeletal defenders after way too many cooldowns being burnt. So he doesn't have Shrine control at all, but he will have the follow-up, and maybe the burst needed to help the Punisher punish. Malfurion removed for Superstars. What do we see out of Naventic? Their first ban.
Do they ban Anubarak versus Superstars again? That they do.
Anubarak, am I right? Got him. I'm sure you guys have never made a noob jokes at home. Yeah. You know? A noob erect. I thought it was original. I don't know.
It almost sounded like you were saying a noob joke. Like you were newbie at joking. You almost had the double.
Oh,
the double-double.
The double-double. So close, yet so far from the double-double. Superstars looking for their first pick. They land on a gray main.
Love it.
You couldn't have said my words better. Love it. Love it.
Great Shrine control. Obviously, Superstars feel very comfortable playing gray main. It seems like Faye is true to her word in what she would be playing. When we interviewed her last week, we talked about Cassie, and she said she felt like Cassie and Greymane were the 2 best range DPS, and that is what we are in fact getting from Faye so far in draft.
So honest in her interview. So kind of her as well, you know, the information that they give to us. They do not have to, but it's awesome to see
Agreed.
that Greymane picked up. Where does Naventic want to move with these 2 picks? Like, I want to say it would be an Uther and a Genji. It's the Uther. It's either that or...
Wait a minute.
Okay, they go with the Gul'dan. See, what this is cool, what I like out of Naventic here for the Uther pickup in this rotation is then you can force it. And then if you force the ban, then you're like, well, at least we got a free ban. But if you don't force the ban, then you get a Genji Uther, and that's actually terrifying.
And hello, who else is good with Uther on Infernal Shrines besides possibly
Kerrigan.
getting Genji? Yeah.
If you draw the ban, you can move into the Kerrigan.
Either one of those. This is the second time that Naventic has done something like this. Last game, getting Abathur and then saying, if you take Greymane, we'll still pair it with Genji, and it almost worked for them.
Yeah, it has been, and that again kind of shows the value at the top half of the draft. The heroes that are the most picked and banned at the top half of the draft, and heroes aren't always the best heroes. They're the ones with the information in which they give, right? And, you know, Abathur isn't necessarily objectively you look at as the best hero in the game, but he can be first pick competitively and win. Wow, right? And it all comes down to the information you convey in your pick order, and Uther is absurdly open-ended.
Muradin and Lucio, Superstars are focusing on Biggie. Oh wait, no. Because he got Uther.
He's got Uther.
They maybe started to do that with the Malfurion ban, but in this case, he's good. He's got Uther. So Superstar just making sure to get Lucio. Not a support that they play super often.
Yeah, and Naventic has a draft that they have got to feel pretty comfortable on. We've only seen Jaina and Chromie out of Kenma so far. Jaina maybe, Chromie no, in terms of this composition in general, with already having the Gul'dan, but it's possible.
It should be Gul'dan played by Kenma. If they're continuing
he's going to be that mage.
Yeah, because Big E was the Gul'dan player before, so in this case should be, what?
Superstars rather ban the Kerrigan than the Genji, saying, we're going to let you have it. We aren't afraid of it. I think if one is going to pay attention, I agree. You know,
she has better shrine control. You already talked about it.
Yeah, it's just that Genji is only a follow-up, whereas Kerrigan is the best of both worlds. So now Naventic still has a lot of shrine control. I honestly thought out of games 1 and 2 with the Genji priority, Naventic either thought Genji was that busted, or they were kind of just like, you know, it's their last series. They've already accepted their outcome. They're just kind of like, we'll play whatever. That's what I thought with the role swap, too, at first. I was just like, I don't really know what this means, but we'll figure it out. And now... Okay, so they're going to change directions, moving into the Leoric and the Tyro, because what I was going to say was that I felt they were kind of, you know, giving a little bit of a troll with the Genji that high up, and now dropping it completely out of priority. They obviously didn't think it was that busted.
Maybe they started with that mentality in mind, and now
quickly out. That could be it.
They're figuring some things out.
I mean, like I said, it doesn't accent the map, but when they've been playing it on just blind rotations high up on any map before, you would expect to see it pop up here on Shrines too. Superstars, they've got their last 2 picks left. Where do we see them moving? They need a backline, and they need another melee. They could go with a secondary warrior. Arthas does not look appealing to be that one, and Nubarak is gone. There's a Lunara for the back. Who's up in the front? Rag? Lili. Double support with a Lili. We did it! We're there!
She's back! Once again with Superstars.
Naventic. Last pick.
How does this work? It would stand to reason that Zuna should be Leo, in which case, Zagara. Either Tomster or Kenma's hero.
It only made us trying to judge on who's playing what on Naventic that much harder. This draft in particular. I'm going with Kenma will be on Gul'dan. Okay.
Who was on what? Is Biggie still playing Uther?
Tomster's the only one I'm having a hard time. Does any of those heroes stand out that Tomster's going to be on? I guess it's cheating. We can see it now.
Well, Biggie normally, I think, was the Zagara player before, but if it's a direct swap between Biggie and Kenma, then Tomster should be playing Zagara.
Kenma's on the Zag.
What?
Kenma's on the Zagara. And then Big Impact, or Gul'dan was played by, Big Impact was played actually, or playing the Gul'dan. Or not the Gul'dan, excuse me, the healer, but then Tomster's on the Gul'dan. What is happening? So he is off of, he's normally a backliner player, used to be more of a melee-ish, but now he's moved to backline, but then he had a very niche, like more Tychus focused, not mage-oriented. That was always Big E. So now Tomster's filling in the mages, while Ken is a mage player, playing Zagar, who's split-pushing, by the way. I don't know if anybody's ever taken...
That's all you need.
Okay, I'll say this, and it's going to be rather blunt, but I am beyond terrified of Kenma on a split pusher. like he's already, when we role swapped, he's still showing to be the guy to get caught out on Naventic. Even on the Jaina game, yes, he didn't always die because his health pool might be a little bit higher, but he is not in the proper position at all times. He's very frequently gotten caught out. When things are bad, he's one of the first to die, and now you have him on the Zagara.
So you believe it'll be Nidus Network?
It will. I mean, it's Infernal Shrines. Yeah, it makes sense to. And even if it doesn't, Zag likes to be in lane longer than most heroes. I just see that dying all day. Into a double support, it's unlikely, but again, it's just Kenma. It's got to be answered at some point. Otherwise, I don't see how Naventic can win this series.
It's ready. Let's do it. Let's see how this works. The role swap coming into play again. Game number 4 on Infernal Shrines. See you there.
It's just because, like, I mean, we've known this to be a problem in the past. But even here today on the different role, it wasn't any different. And Zag is a very weird hero on how she plays team fights. It isn't like your, I don't know, your, like, Vola plays every team fight the exact same every single game, almost no matter what.
I got you, fam.
Hit me with it.
I know what it is.
What is it?
If it's Nidus Network and he gets caught, he just goes back into the network.
Is that... I don't know if you knew this.
That's the million-dollar idea.
But taking damage actually interrupts your ability to go back into the network.
If he has the creep spread, then he just runs away in time.
You know, well, I like your thought process. We had the same conversation about the range on Chromie, allowing him to stay back farther. Still die.
You got me there.
Creep's been laid. We'll find out. This is a interesting lane choice already for Naventic, who's sending these two up on top. This is absolutely one of the most terrifying lanes in the entire world. With the Leoric and the Zagara together, those two have skirmish, wave clear, a little bit of everything. Yeah,
2-1-2 for Team Naventic. Superstars trying to make the appropriate responses, having Sray and Hosty up top, while Hosty can do pretty good damage now that Blinding Wind's damage has been increased. We're still struggling with the lane. Dwarf Toss dodges the Storm Bolt.
Not even
Not so much the damage.
He's down. And this is going to be a surviving Superstars. I hate to say I told you so type deal, but this is like one of those, that's the start of, what I'm trying to say is we should keep a heavy eye on if that continues to be a trend throughout this game, Gilly.
Well, it may not have been very many Zagara games in practice for Kenma, and now that it's been seen that Lili can dish out that kind of damage, I'm hoping for the adjustments, the right adjustments to be made.
You know, I was going to say meaner things after that, but I'll hold off, and we're just going to leave it.
Did my optimism inspire you?
I don't know if this is a Grinch heart-growing moment. I don't know if I go that far yet, you know? You might be putting the cart before the horse.
If you're the Grinch, am I Cindy Lou Who?
Probably, yeah.
I love that so much.
Are you just... I think you're just more ecstatic about the character that I gave you here. The Shrine is up, though, on Infernal Shrines here. Game number 4. See who gets the upper hand. We know it's a double support. It's on Infernal Shrines. That means it should kind of work. We do see slight changes with the Holy Fire on Big Impact there at level 1, or at level 4, excuse me, on the Uther.
Hosty takes a lot of damage from the corruption, the damage of Gul'dan. And between the creep, having that vision there, and Naventic getting up to the top lane quickly, they have pushed back Superstars slightly around this shrine, but not willing enough to start it. They have Zagara in the bottom lane. She'll be able to push Lunara back into her base quite handily.
This is okay for Superstars here. Naventic is responding to the circumstances very, very well, though. They know that they don't necessarily win a full 5-on-5 fight onto the Punisher itself in this shrine fight. And so rather than committing everybody, they go, we have good laning phase. We have good lanes, period.
Yeah,
Let's focus on those.
It's awesome, too, because they left the right people. They have Leoric and Gul'dan to still be able to steal away some of the skeletal defenders. And as long as they keep even with Superstars, which they have, when Superstars goes up, they go up. But they're getting 2-lane soak, and there's only Greymane trying to continue to soak, too. As long as Naventic doesn't lose anybody here, that's key.
Things seem to be going to plan. Tomster definitely lower than he'd like to be with only an Uther support as well. Big Impact maybe appreciating the plight of the support a bit more, but a pick on to Kenma, off onto the side lanes, and that is going to set Superstars pretty far ahead. So much so, they're not only now leading on to the Skeletal Defender, Sray getting caught out.
Zuna's Wraith walking to him. Damage is enough to get that kill, so the 1-for-1 trading out with Zagara taken down, and Superstars haven't quite gotten enough Skeletal Defenders to claim the Punisher. So each team reacting to each other. Superstars sees that Team Naventic are soaking dual lanes. They send everyone immediately up to the shrine. Zagara gets taken out. Kier comes to the top to try to handle this too so that they don't lose this Arcane Punisher.
And now the double support is back. Once Murden gets there, as long as it's not dead, even 29 to 29, Superstars should be able to get this Punisher. It should be theirs. But they are matched 29 to 29, and the Murden's still not there yet. So 9 away. They can overcommit, and they're going to. Here it is, 33 to 32. Sray looking to collapse everybody in bad positioning for Naventic. They're desperately going in to get it. They do, but how much does it cost them?
Man, they had such low mana. They've already lost 2 kills. Zuna should be a third too. Only Gul'dan survives here in the top lane, but with Superstars 5-man rotating to the top, Kenma will start sieging this bottom fort.
Kenma has been left on an island, and he's digging it right now, getting half of that down. He has no Nidus network by any means, so this is a dead Kenma. Even without the Stormbolt, I don't even think Sray needs them for any one of these kings. I don't know if that makes the situation better or worse, that he doesn't need the Stormbolt, but another Zag pick here. Superstars is in the game purely kind of based on those.
On picks. They are tied up in experience. They lost the first Punisher. They've lost nearly the bottom fort. This is... If it keeps continuing down the path, all I can say is that Superstars are playing a type versus a type of composition that is not fun to play against. Just like, I am going to sit here and siege every second of my life in this game.
No, they really are not. They're going against the fun police comp, that's for sure. It's not like... I don't know, it's both ways. Granted, I'm not sold on double support, but it is hyped up.
True.
And it is considered to be really annoying. That's what a lot of people don't like. That's why a lot of our pros were so vocal about it. They were like, this is just not fun to deal with.
Are you saying that Team Naventic has tasked themselves with punishing Superstars for drafting this Lucio comp?
I don't know. Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll keep it short.
Thornwood Vine, no Leaping Strike. Cursed Bullet, too, for Greymane. So both not the aggressive, initiating heroic abilities that we know from them. Oh, we might have Water Dragon.
It should be Jugs into reverse amp.
Talk to me. Tell me why.
Jugs is... I don't know. Okay, so... When you have a double support, much like when you're playing 2 warriors, you would like one of them to have enough damage to justify lacking that role in general, right? So one of you plays offense and the other plays defense. Both have one of options of both. So you consider the amount of damage your opponents have and where that damage comes from, and mix with the AoE healing you're going to have in the downtime outside of that, which between 1,000 Cups and having Lucio, post 16, enough healing. Hold on a minute.
Biggie's here steps in for the Hammer of Justice, Sound Barrier, and Sanctification used.
So there's the answer and half the problem, which now means almost 100% of Water Dragon.
I thought they were maybe waiting to see it on Jug of 1,000 Cups until they saw what Tyrael picked, Sanctification, but now it just seems like they're both waiting to see what is needed in the moment. And in that moment for Iacona, it was Sound Barrier.
This is not a composition that can get away with double supporting. And if we see the Lili pick 1,000 Jugs, I think they just lost a lot of their team fight, a lot of this game. They'll get out macroed in a lot of sense. Cure, off in his own, they go for it.
20 versus 20, Zagara nowhere to be found around here, and that's because she is hanging out in the top lane zoning. First bullet, Zuna's getting low, still holding himself back up. Divine Storm, horrified, Lili gets taken out before she can even cast that Jug of 1,000 Cups.
25 Skeletal Defenders and counting for Naventic as the man up. There goes the Entomb. 3 away is going to be Superstars as they are desperately questioning, can we do this? They commit, but they still are exactly 3. Now 2 away. Iacona, the MVP there on the Lucio, snipes the last 3.
Backward skates away, Stormbolt to stop Zuna from taking out Faye. Zuna's and Tombs have been awesome this game.
They have been. They very much have been. So why I'm afraid of double support and committing to double support when it comes to the actual heroics themselves is that Naventic doesn't ever need to fight. So Superstars didn't pick a single global on their entire comp. They picked a team fight composition. Whenever you bank on double support, you have no macro. So again, their best person to go out and wave clear all day is going to be the Lunara. While in the spare time, Zagara's off doing her own thing, keeping them in the map. If anything, doing better, because we see already Naventic's got 2 structures up. And now that the global's online, therefore Kenma on that Zagara, outside of getting picks onto him, when looking at the fights itself, Naventic has 0 incentive to ever go to a Punisher for at least the next 3. Zagara will do a better job at everything Superstars is looking to do, and you either match the Zagara or you don't match her and she gets a keep. That is what it should be. Now, this can't happen. That has to stop at some point.
Yeah.
But if it does stop and he properly is pushing those side lanes, Superstars just does, they are like, oh, we can win this fight because we have double supporting. Isn't that neat? And it'll be like, and Zagara's being a problem. So then you send Lunara and then they go, and now we win the fight because you have 0 damage.
That was wonderfully done by Naventic too. Caught, Curse Bullet was used, but Zuna had the heal online. The rest came in. He dove over Leoric right into the welcoming arms of Iacona for a Hammer of Justice. So as long, again, Team Naventic lost their Zagara, but they themselves got a pick.
That was good, and something Naventic has to continue forward. But also, it means more than that. That is not a traditional trade, again, because the role that Kenma has to fill in this game. He has a specific responsibility necessary for him and his team by going into that Nidus network. And if it's working out for now because his deaths are not equal to the objectives he's obtaining. That is no longer the case, that death timers are scaling upward and upward. And once we get to the point of keeps, it will not even be close the way that it has been so far.
She has protective coating now, so she gets 20 armor when she's on the creep. So that helps in that. Lily's getting more damage with Surging Winds. Gives her more spell power for more damage. I'm also looking at Uther Blessed Champion.
Again,
yeah,
not like this, guys. Genma, please.
Goodbye. So Blessed Champion
is a thing.
Yeah, we've seen a lot more well met at 13, which is the damage and movement speed reduction, but in this case, more heals.
Love it on this map. On the Shrine itself. Just you can get so much AoE healing on the Shrine when you get some auto attacks. It's really useful. Yeah. His 13s are kind of lackluster. Well Mutt is definitely the best out of them all in general. Just that 25 damage reduction onto a single target. But I do like this one on this map. I think it's a smart heads-up adjustment coming out from Big E.
Yeah, more Paladin status for Uther here. Between that, having Holy Fire too to try to help out with the Shrine Clear Sun. Just more damage that Big E can do. Whatever amount that might be from Uther. We are even in Skeletal Defenders. Team Naventic has the 16 advantage, but Zagara was gone. Now she's heading back into the bottom lane to continue that task.
Zuna barely keeping himself alive with that Drain Hope, but he ends up going down by Goku. 23 seconds more for the Cursed Bullet. Zag's going to get that split push, but Naventic is forfeiting this Punisher. Something that you don't normally see when down to 16 talents here, but all it took was the one Zag pick. And Superstars have the objective. They're even clearing out top in the downtime.
Yeah, Kenma didn't get as much push as he could have with that.
No, it would have been a keep.
Yeah, because, or at least making somebody from Superstars rotate back, which might have been then Punisher for Naventic. But because he got picked, he only just started to get the minions even close to the keep towers.
So we'll see what she's able to do in this downtime while Superstars trying to siege with this Punisher. Beautiful flank coming out from Zuna. Hosi is going to be the in-tune target, but a lot of damage coming out from Faye. Sanctification dropping, and there is the sound barrier. Now, Kenma here to join the fight, but Toms are eating so much DPS. Sray Dwarf Toss out. Cooldowns, heroics, damages, a lot of fireworks. But in the end, they just go back home.
Yeah, I guess it was about an even trade on heroics between the two because Sanctification and Sound Barrier were the longer ones used for either side. And Entomb is so short that it'll be back up in a few seconds.
It's like a cathartic relationship between these two, you know? They just kind of They just yell at each other the whole time. They group up and they yell at each other and they say mean things and rude things really loudly, and then they walk away and they say, "You feel better?" And you're like, "Yeah." And you say, "You feel better?" And you're like, "Yeah." And you're like, "Fine, I'm going back to my side of the map."
Let's break it down as rude. It's a rude thing to yell. I never knew. Today I learned. Stormbolt. Zuna takes so much damage from Curse Bullet right off the bat.
Just chunking him, and the dot is there. He is going to go down. But it's a Leoric. It's a little bit different than, you know, every other hero in the game. It's actually the original Zuna feed meme right there, isn't it? Zuna on Leoric. Been a while. Been a hot minute.
Not as lag-effy as Zeratul, though.
You know, the guy just... You gotta give Zuna credit. No matter who you are in this world, one thing is he's the only dude who can be like a living meme, just period. Like that in itself it's award worthy. Maybe not something he's proud of, but I think he should be.
He's done so much for the community from that alone. We've got a lot of different talents at 16. Alpha Killer for Superstars. There are plenty of warriors, and it does seem like Zuna is the primary target. So just making sure that they can continue to get those kills. As he tanks himself up, gets tankier with getting hopelessness.
In general, on Greymane, when I move into the Cursed Bullet, a lot of the times that's the 16 that feels the best for me. Just because, again, you have no go for the throat, you have no finisher, might as well make your Worgen form percentile. It ensures that that target dies a little bit more consistently, and it's convenient against the frontliners.
Leoric does have Unyielding Despair, though. He got that at 16, and so that, along with all of the other abilities, trying to keep him alive, maybe more, but there it is, right? There is exactly what we were talking about.
Cursed Bullet is such a... I'm going to use the word fun, but I don't know if it's what I mean. Spell. Goku goes in. Kira ends up throwing the Q, dropping the Holy Ground. Nobody on their way out, but one nice Thornwood Vine from Faye kind of ensures nobody from Naventic wants to move in. We've got 20 seconds, more like 10, up until Zuna's going to join this fight, and this is a realistic fight for Naventic to take.
Yeah, this time Zagara has been kept at bay by Superstars, clearing out the minion wave. But now that that's done, the Mercenary Camp's gone. Hammer of Justice, Curse Bullet 2, Tomster forces out Sanctification.
Without the Sanctification, they can actually take this team fight. Now that they have Sound Barrier and Jugs, they can just hard zone. Kenma moves up. A little bit of damage, but not too much. 34 as he is getting desperate. D-Shield as the cleanse comes out from Superstars. And the Jugs, Sound Barrier, everything is going to be popped.
Yeah, so many things were stopped from being able to get Stray out of danger from that. Horrify was used,
4.
Divine Storm.
Punisher goes over to Naventic, and no kills go over to Superstars. They only have Cursed Bullet, no defensive out of the supports.
Does Ken go bot? He does go bot. The rest are going to push along with the Punisher. 20's almost here for Team Naventic.
Ken should be top right now because he can't lay creep forward into the lane, and when they hit 20, that's when they should be forcing. So Naventic essentially right now, when the minute Kenma shows, he says, I only want one keep. There is no option of game because they could get the keep, get 20 advantage, force the fight, and win. Like, it is realistic that this could be a game, especially with Entombed.
Well, there's a lot of heroic abilities still down for Team Naventic, though, where they maybe didn't feel like they could fight in a way they could before. Three-man Punisher jump. Entomb.
But Zagara is still nowhere to be found. They only have 20 advantage, and the keep's still up.
All right, so they're sacrificing Zuna. Probably big impact is going to drop too. Has redemption, so he'll come back as he's being chased down. Jug of 1,000 Cups, just for good measure, making sure Goku stays alive in the trade with Zuna. Kenma sitting in the bottom lane though. All of the members of Naventic kept Superstars in the top as long as they could. Now Kenma has to get out. There we go. Okay, there we go.
He made it out.
Woo. Leo, I wonder if Zuna's going to sacrifice himself for that keep top.
I don't know. My jimmies are rustled here, Gilly.
All right.
They are.
Take some time.
Let's just
talk it out.
Let's think about the last couple of seconds of decision-making Naventic made. So they had 20 advantage and decided to rotate Zag bottom. I get it at first. It's like a double keep play. That's cool. Then you entomb, you buy the time, and you walk away. But because they did things the way that they did with Zagara rotating, they not only didn't get the top keep because they didn't focus it properly, but then they didn't get the bottom keep even after a late rotation out of Superstars. It's just Naventic had a 20 spike, a 17-minute Immortal or Punisher, and no keep front wall, and didn't get a keep on the map. That's just unheard of. And that was all because they rotated their only Siege hero. Zagara down to bottom and left her to do her thing.
Here he goes. Oh, Kier.
He went for the B step, but in fact lost the camp. I don't know who's the real winner.
Sacrifice Leo. Wraith Walk.
He's
Good
out.
night. Sweet Leoric, but he gets the keep.
What do we got here? Kung Fu Hustle for Hosty. That's no way.
Nope.
W. It just takes any damage, yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, I thought for a moment Saray was literally going to let him walk in there and risk an auto attack.
Why weren't they pushing the bottom lane? Well, now they are. They're going to push bottom lane. They don't have their Kenma. People are backing now.
But see, oh man. They're going to get it, and they get out. So good on you, Naventic. That's how I would put that.
Are they getting out?
The Immortal, or excuse me, the Punisher is more important than any of these kills at this point in the time. So once it gets to this front wall, they should nope out. Big impacts at best. Oh man, they're going to go for the collapse. Right? Goes in, there he goes. Redemption is still a thing, and Tomb is going to be dropped. T-minus 3 seconds, and we've got ourselves an Uther 2.0.
And this time, all heroic abilities except in Tomb.
Oh,
You have Horrify
never mind.
Still, Divine Storm.
It was on cooldown.
Oh.
He's out. He's out for good.
Wow.
I thought he had it. I didn't realize he had died yet. So now Uther gone. That's 40 seconds. So when I said, no, it still wasn't worth it. Anyways, so now the Punisher's going to be picked up. No Uther for 30 seconds. Map cleared out. No major pressure. Double catapults. You know, Zagara's going to be doing her thing up on top.
Not pushing this wave in too much yet. I kind of would like to, but I am sorry, friend. You are a Lucio. Still, there's no front wall to bait over, so probably Team Naventic defends at keep.
I was taking a minute. Greymane was hunting Zag for a long while, just staying in the shrub, waiting to see if she pushed past a point. Now they're doing a really cool swap. Not even going to. I thought they were going to send Lucio. They're trying to wait to see where the members in Naventic are because Naventic hasn't shown.
Zag Leo
They can't end. They can't.
No, but they're posturing maybe to try to throw damage here in the mid, I guess.
Oh, Goku got baited. He just, oh my
Hello?
gosh, he used the
It's
curse
him!
bullet too. He's got the kill. Oh, he gets it, he's out. Oh, get wrecked.
No, the minions though.
He's got it, baby. He got it with the E over the sidewall and then getting the Q through. That is now the kill. I thought, okay, so what Goku did really wrong really early was the fact that he actually dropped the curse bullet after he went into Worgen form. And what that did was it allowed, he would have been able to disengage. So watch, he curse bullets while in Worgen. So now he can no longer disengage, and normally he would be able to, but then they entomb over the wall. He gets a beautiful, beautiful leap over.
So
Man.
what happened with the
We'll be right back to our pause.
All right.
Goku broke the game.
He just flat out did. Zuna took the hands off the keyboard, and he's just like, have mercy on me, because that was just nasty.
That was such a funny bait, though. Like, Zagara's like, I know that Goku is hunting me, so
Yeah.
you send Leoric there too. Curse bullets used, Zuna shows up, Entomb goes down. It's just Goku, man.
It
Just
is.
Goku things. All right, we're getting back to the game. The conclusion to Game 4.
The conclusion to Game 4. Let's do it.
Is there an
What
echo
we
in here?
to bring you back to life here, what we've experienced since the replay, beyond the Zag outplay coming out from Goku, we've got ourselves a keep dying on bottom.
Superstars gets a keep. And that stops the catapult pressure. That's going to nullify that, at least in the bottom lane. Top lane, still a problem, but is less of an issue. And opens up the core.
Opening up the core and getting a win condition on Infernal Shrines. First step in the right direction here for Superstars. Paint the map red, keep the pressure up. They don't have a global, they don't have good wave clears, so anytime they can time this to make Zag respond to them is going to be a win. Mid lane, not the best, but bottom and top specifically are really great to see Superstars pressure out. I'd even like Superstars with this show on bottom to just take top 4 for free here, or invade the camp. We'll see. They've only shown 1 on bottom right now. Naventic know at least 3 people are top.
What did Naventic do?
They're going to try and stop the invade. They know it's happening.
So it'll be a 4v5 battle because all of Superstars are here. Superstars were just looking or showing some backing in case there was going to be a backdoor.
They got the Shaman camp and they get out. So now they time the Shaman camp of their own perfectly after clearing out bottom. Bottom lane is the most important for Superstars to clear out.
Zagara.
She's fine. For now.
She was on creep, thankfully. Giving her that movement speed. Goku has become a bug hunter, an exterminator.
Yeah, he's done a pretty successful job so far here in this game. The bottom lane, halfway there.
You
with
think
one
Zagara?
catapult alive.
You think Zagara was a cat, the way Goku's been hunting her?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good way to put it. Zag is going to bottom, so that's where she's going to pressure out. That's why I was talking about where the lane is on bottom. It's very important when you're not, when you are down a keep, but especially when you're down a keep in a global, you always have to consider where your waves are before you even start an objective.
First bullet missed. That allows Zuna to get away with Wraith Walk.
This time. 20 seconds later, may not be the case. Curer doesn't want this. I thought for a minute he'd get cheeky like he did last time.
Yeah, Superstars are... The nice thing for them is this shrine is in the top lane, and getting those mercenaries as well as it being here allows them to try to deal with the catapults at the same time. Stray's getting around the other side of Tomster. Sanctification used to stop, and there's Divine Storm too from the team.
Too much damage going on to Goku here. They need the supports to be able to keep it up. There's going to be the jugs dropped. Goku goes in. Tomster takes a lot of damage. Sound barrier dropped. And Sray Dwarf tosses in, going team. Hello? Everybody of Naventic so very low, but nobody to fall. And Zag's got 2 catapults on core.
Oh, Naventic even has a well still alive 25 minutes into the game next to the shrine, so they're able to tap and re-engage. Goku has been sent back to base.
This was such a proper response. So then you rid immediately. Oh, if Zuna goes down as well, that could be a double win. Immediately rids of the... Oh, Cure! Catapults and then rotate to be able to join the fight. Cure goes back in. They're going to try and take this. Sound barrier dropped once more thanks to the level 20 heroic, and already is going to be Gul'dan and Tyrael dead.
Kenma soon to follow as he is caught between a rock and a hard place with Stray there. Zuna trying to Wraith Walk back. Big Impact in trouble. Iacona pushes Zuna back to his team, and now only Big Impact remains for the team. A keep has been taken out already in this game. Superstars, in taking out 4 members, all but the support, are looking to rotate down to the bottom lane and move on to core to take this series.
Thanks to Lucio there. Iacona giving everybody a speed boost, making it a bit easier to make this happen. But we have 25 seconds before Horrify is their only Divine Storm, and it's not even Divine Hurricane. It's the only defensive tool here for Naventic. And I'm sorry, Big Impact, I know it's your first support showing, but it's not the best opportunity to let you thrive. This is going to be Superstars Series 3-2-1.
Superstars gets a win over Naventic. It's not a 3-0, but they still get the win. So if all things hold true in tomorrow, if they can rely now on Tempo Storm to take out B-Step, Superstars will be able to claim the 4th place spot in the standings, what they have been working toward all of Part 2, and they avoid the very first match of playoffs. That's what they're looking for, and now their hopes rest with 1 Tempo Storm.
With that or B-Step, you know, depending on if you want the team to just come in and smash B-Step, or if you're just hoping B-Step flops that day. Either way, Superstars has an opportunity to get that spot, something that they have been fighting for, as we said, for so very long, since the first time they ended up facing B-Step. And here they get a win against Naventic. Again, one that I feel like the group, they're probably going to be like, you know, we aren't disappointed the fact that we win, but maybe not as clean as we had hoped for. Because again, just dropping even any game to Naventic at this point, I feel like for a lot of teams, even with the positive signs Naventic has shown recently, it's viewed as in general just like, there's a win.
Well, now that we've seen Superstars and all of their matches throughout Part 2, how do you think they will do in the playoffs?
I'm going to be honest, I can't, it's hard. It's hard. I don't see this group of players taking any games off of the top 3. maybe one off a teammate, but I feel like it stops there. That is where the end of their ladder climb really is going to stand. Purely just based off of, again, where this group of players falls in terms of history. They have this is one of the longer standing players, at least, out of Heroes of the Storm on this roster. Those bigger names, the top 3, are really feels like there's a gap from the rest of NA.
Well, let's see what this guy has to say about it. Hey, Iacona, congrats. You guys took out Naventic 3-1. My first question, I'm sure you know what it's going to be. You guys load into game 1, and Kenma's playing Chromie. What'd you think?
We were a bit confused at first. Like, maybe they just forgot to, like, swap heroes or something. Like, it was a little kind of a jarring at first, and then once the game started, game 2 rolled around, we figured out that that's what they're doing, that they role swapped seemed to be Big Impact and Kenma. So it was very confusing at first and caught us a little off guard, but we just started once we were kind of panicking a bit, I'd say, and like kind of over stressing, because this game also kind of mattered to us. It puts us, I don't think it guarantees, but it puts us in a really good spot to overtake B-Step seeding into 4th place. So, like, we're putting a lot of pressure on ourselves on this game, and just to be honest, like, we were freaking out a bit. So, like, we just had to calm our nerves as the series went on, and we started kind of just regroup and focus and finish out the series hard.
Yeah, I've talked to Goku a little bit about it, but I want to hear your opinion. How important is it to you guys that you don't have to play that first playoffs match?
I think that not playing the first players match is also important because A, you play less. There's less games you have to play to get to the end, and also B, you reveal less strategies because it's also, I think it's on like, it's not like a new patch, but it's like there's some balance changes in there, so it changes things up a little bit. And the other bigger benefit also is that we get to start higher. So like if we were to get 5th seed and then we would play 4th seed B-Step, we would play them on their server, which would be the USX server. So us winning this means that if we actually do get 4th seed, then that match we played on our server choice, which is Central. Yeah. And I think that's also a pretty big thing. That's maybe not a lot of people really understand or don't really know, but there's 2 servers in North America, so having server priority is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about that, especially with Naventic, because they've talked about how important that is to them, too. Dred, any questions?
I've just, got to ask how, the team is going to be prepping for playoffs itself. What is the difference between an average HGC week now for you guys in terms of what you're looking for to do now in the playoffs?
I'd say the average HGC week, you play 1 to 2 matches, where at playoffs, you play like up to 3 or 4 matches over the course of a weekend. So there's a lot more preparation you have to do. And you also don't always know who your opponent is. Going into the normal playoffs or normal season, you know who your opponent is ahead of time. Yeah. While here, you can have your predictions of who you think, but there might be upsets or something happening. So it's also harder to prepare for that since you don't know who you're facing or when... or how many, I guess you'll know now, basically, going into it, you'll know how many, where you stand in there, but it's just more preparation because there's a lot more matches and possibilities of unknown opponents.
Well, congratulations, Iacona, on this pivotal victory. Good luck in preparing for the playoffs and at the playoffs themselves. Any shout-outs before you go celebrate with your team?
Yes, shout-outs to, obviously, my whole team. Playing great, looking good. Shout-outs to everyone. Of course, you guys, casting, being here. With us the whole